All right, so back to Southern style. Now I'm going to do our Southern fried chicken, or my take on Southern fried chicken. Absolutely amazing chicken. So the first thing you need to do is the night before, I'm using bone-in, skin-on chicken legs. You can also use chicken thighs. Breasts are not so great for fried chicken. I don't know who thinks they are, but it's dry and gross. Anyway, so what you're gonna do is take however many chicken pieces that you want to do. I've got about 15 in here. Put them in a coverable dish. You are going to add a quarter of a cup of granulated garlic salt, another quarter of a cup of garlic powder, and a half a cup of table salt or kosher salt is best. I know it seems like a lot of salt. Put all that in here, and then you fill it with water up to just covering the top of the chicken. Give it a good shake and a stir, put the lid on it, put it in your refrigerator overnight. Has to be in there minimum 12 hours. So you're gonna take it out in the morning, or when you're ready to cook it. It's not gonna make it super salty, so it sounds like it is. It's called brining, so it's just opening the pores of the chicken that allows the water to come in, and it plumps your chicken, so it'll be the most juicy, delicious. If you skip this step, your chicken will come out a little dry. But anyway, so you rinse it 3 or 4 times to get all that salt off. To get all the salt off of it, and then just submerge it in regular water. You're gonna then put this back in your refrigerator and let it sit until you are ready to deep fry. Next step, we've got our oil heated up to about 350 degrees. If you don't have a thermometer, you can use my Grandma Healy's trick. Use any wooden spoon. You stick your wooden spoon in, and if it makes bubbles about like this, like a rapid bubbling coming out of the end of your wooden spoon, it's about 350, and yeah, it's never led me wrong. It's always right. I've tested her dairy, and it's within 10 degrees. So, and that's at about medium-high heat. We'll get you to that place. All right. Next is your dredge. This is the most important part. So, our dredge, everybody's kind of got their own way to do it. So what I use is this is 4 cups of all-purpose white flour, and then for the seasonings, you can season it however you want. So I use a cup of this. It's the chicken poultry rub. They sell it at Walmart. It's kind of above Kroger. Anyway, number 1. Number 2, about a quarter of a cup of garlic salt, a quarter of a cup of granulated garlic. I like to use dried chopped chives, and I use about a cup of that. So this is the point where you're going to want to add a little bit of heat. So I recommend using cayenne pepper. Start with a teaspoon or a tablespoon and figure out what you like for spicy. This doesn't necessarily make it spicy if you're only using a teaspoon. It just gives it a little flavor boost. Then you want to use your herbs, very important. So if you have the Italian herb mix, use a quarter of a cup of that in there. I add a quarter of a cup of thyme and about 2 tablespoons of dried rosemary. All these together, you're gonna make for some tasty chicken. So you mix this up by hand. So here's your first secret tip from Chris. Heavy cream into this dry flour. You just wanna drizzle it, just ever so, just like this. And then take your hand and just toss it. This is how you get that like Kentucky Fried Chicken look, like the little crumbles all over it. When you fry chicken at home, it just never quite looks like the good stuff at the restaurant. This is their secret. And drizzle again until you start to get little chunks in here where the milk has started to All right, zoom in here for a second. So instead of it being smooth flour, you've got these little nuggets like this. And this is what you're looking for, all these little nuggets. Then when you roll your chicken in there, it's gonna stick to those nuggets, and you'll have big chunky pieces of batter on there. And let's face it, batter is the only reason that people make fried chicken. All right, next item that you have to prep. So this is just 1 egg and a cup and a half of cold water. Whisk it together, it's just an egg wash. And lastly, all-purpose flour with a teaspoon of black pepper. Just the kind in the shaker is fine, or ground or white pepper if you want it spicy. All right, so make your chicken super, super crispy, you take your dredge that you just made, flour dredge, you put this in your freezer for about 15 minutes. And when you put something that's ice cold into something that's really hot, it instantly gets a crust. So we're gonna measure television. This has been in the freezer for about 15 minutes. All right, so you wanna line your process up so that you don't make any more mess than you absolutely have to. So put your plain flour first, your egg wash in the middle, and your dredge solution on the end. I'm gonna come over to this side, babe. That way you can see better. Everybody can see how messy our kitchen is. This is what happens every morning when we make brunch. All right, and then you've got your chicken back here. It's still submerged in water. All right, away we go. One piece, just shake off the excess water, toss it in flour. And this is just like our fish and chips recipe. You're basically just making glue. So you get it nicely coated all the way around. Try to keep the flap of the chicken pulled up so that it's gonna seal. Toss it into this egg wash. Now you've got a sticky gooey mess. Perfect. And you roll and squeeze, and roll and squeeze. Roll it and then squeeze it, and roll it and squeeze it. All right. Should look about like that. And drop it into the oil. So you don't want to overcrowd your chicken, which everybody knows. So this, I can do 18 pieces in this, but we're going to just do 5 or 6 just to get us started here. You want to move fairly quickly so that everything's kind of cooked evenly and done at the same time. So you're going to get messy. That's why it's better to just do it fast. So when your hands get all gunky like this, you just rub them off back into your bread, because those are the chunks that make your chicken tasty. I'm grabbing tongs, babe. I think I need to go about this. There's some of that strainer. All right, so when you're frying chicken, it always needs to be moving. Never let it sit. So if you gotta stop, you're moving too slow, putting your chicken in, that's fine. Just keep it turning, keep it turning. You don't want to get a spot on it that's a little too crispy. Those herbs will burn if your chicken is if your oil's too hot and it sits too long in one spot, all the herbs that you put in will burn. It won't necessarily affect the flavor too much, but it's not beautiful chicken. And we like to make pretty food. Hey, boo boo. Mm-hmm.
That's okay, we didn't get that.
Oh, good. That hurt. Alright. So you want to make sure that your chicken has room all the way around it, that it's not touching any other piece, so that it cooks evenly. Alright. Alright, so we'll just keep these moving around. And my other tongue. So again, just keep this chicken moving. But see how beautiful golden brown it's already getting? That's what we want. So it's going to cook at 350 in this oil, moving constantly for 8 to 10 minutes. So, easiest way to tell if your chicken is done. Ours obviously hasn't been in there quite long enough, but take a really sharp knife. I use a fillet knife, and you stick it into the chicken, just like this, and pull out. And you wait a minute, and you see if blood comes out or if nothing comes out. If nothing comes out, then the juices are running clear. All right, so we'll take a break for a second and come back in about 8 minutes. All right, so we've had our chicken frying for about 8 to 10 minutes. Come on over, babe. So you can see it's all golden brown. I'm gonna just take one of your bigger pieces, stick your knife in, and if what comes out is clear, which it is, good to go. Always drain on paper towel so they don't sit in grease. Again, this is going out on our buffet, so we gotta make it look kind of pretty. So I'm frying in all-purpose frying oil, but you can use peanut oil, you can use vegetable oil, you can use shortening. You can use the same oil 4 or 5 times. So our key to doing that, and it actually gets better. Your oil gets seasoned and flavored. So first batch chicken is really good, but after we've used that oil once or twice, it's really tasty. But let it cool, and you strain it through a colander, and then put it in a container and store it in the fridge, and you can reuse that oil several times. So you can see this is all these nooks and crannies. That's from putting the heavy cream in your flour. It gives you all these little crunchy bits, and this is crunchy chicken. All right, we like to garnish it with just a little bit of chopped chives to make it look pretty for our wonderful guests. All right, let's take it over here and put it on the buffet. That is our Southern fried chicken. Super easy to do. If you like it, share it, and I'll keep making videos. All right, thanks, kids.